we are going to talk about today we are going to talk about some very basic concepts related to feminism. We'll try understanding what is feminism, relevance of women in feminism, relevance and role of men in feminism, and who all feminism is for. So let's get started. When men are oppressed, it's a tragedy. When women are oppressed, it's tradition. This very famous quote by Letty Cotton actually says that men actually occupy such an important position in society because of their privilege. Men have been oppressing women ever since, and when they are oppressed, it becomes a sort of tragedy. But when women are oppressed, it's tradition. Just because women have been oppressed in centuries throughout, the fact that every society in the world has always been a patriarchal society where men are at power or men have the power of decision making and controlling the resources of the family. That is referred to as a patriarchal society. And not just men, anyone can be a patriarch. If we consider the fact and notion that anyone can be a feminist, similarly, anyone can be a patriarch as well. Women can also be patriarchs. Let's get back to the topic. Uh, Too much of digression, I would say. So, we through feminism try to talk about oppression that women have been facing throughout. We give voice to the women who have been marginalized, oppressed, suppressed throughout centuries, and they are at the center. They try to talk about everything which they have been facing, their own experiences. They redefine knowledge, they redefine society so that they get equal access to all kinds of sources in all the sectors. Let's see the traditional definition of feminism. What is feminism? According to a very basic, simple definition, feminism is a movement that advocates for gender equality. The goal of feminism is for all people to be treated equally. What differentiates feminism from other social movements is the focus on gender and how it relates to the oppression of women as well as people with non binary gender identities and expressions. It's a social movement. The main idea behind feminism is gender equality. The goal is to ensure that everyone is treated equally in whichever way possible and everyone has equal access to all the resources in all the sectors. Obviously the focus is on primary focus is on gender, but there are various other aspects as well. The major idea which feminism advocates is that obviously talks about oppression of women and people with non-binary gender identities and expressions. Feminism is a very diverse and inclusive movement. It's an idea, it's an ideology. It is talking about people who do not conform to the two basic binaries of genders, man and woman. People who do not identify as either man or woman, somebody who is a transgender, somebody who is agender, somebody who belongs to LGBTQ. All these people, we talk about them, their rights, and their importance in the society. That is what feminism is all about. Let's try to explore and see a few more things. Rebecca West simplifies the idea, a very renowned feminist, by saying, I myself have never been able to find out precisely what a feminist is. I only know that people call me a feminist whenever I express sentiments that differentiate me from a doormat. So you see how powerful this statement is. When a woman chooses not to be identified as a doormat, not to be referred to as a doormat, on which that can be used by anyone, a woman who chooses to assert her identity in the society, a woman who chooses to say that she is powerful, a woman who wants equality in every sphere, a woman who is not ready to be oppressed or suppressed anymore, and not just women, as already mentioned, about any individual who has been oppressed, suppressed, any individual belonging to minority, somebody who's a part of LGBTQ, or any other individual as well for that matter, somebody who has been discriminated on basis of race, class, caste, gender, sex, religion. Anybody can choose feminism and include their own identity. Yes, the primary concern of feminism is to bring equality, hence, it is initially a women's movement, but it is not only limited to women, it does talk about a lot of identities, and hence, feminism is for everyone. Another very important quote which tries to break some stereotypes regarding feminism, that feminism is anti men, feminism hates men, feminism is only for women. No, definitely not. Just look at it. Feminism is not a dirty word. It does not mean you hate men. It does not mean you hate girls that have nice legs and a tan. And it does not mean you are a bitch or a dyke. It means that you believe in equality. Dyke is obviously uh, slang used for lesbian women, women who have sex with women. And hence, this quote tries to assert the idea that it is for everyone, irrespective of their identity associated with any marker. Feminism, now we talk about importance of men in feminism. If feminism, you see, women is equal, a woman is equal to man, the picture shows. Men can do it too. Today, we need men to be equally involved in the movement of feminism so that they talk about women and they also talk about their own issues, because feminism is not anti men. Feminism is anti patriarchy. Feminism is fighting patriarchy. And patriarchy suppresses, victimizes everyone, men as well. Fem- Patriarchy lays down certain gendered code of conduct, social rules, behaviors, regulations, which everyone is supposed to follow. According to society, a man cannot be emotional, a man cannot cry, a man cannot be submissive, a man cannot be polite, a man always has to be arrogant. No, definitely not. A man can be equally sensitive, equally emotional, sensible. A man can also be creative, artistic, and this is not just women's domain. A man could also be very much empathetic. So, our fight is against all these gender based stereotypes. We know these stereotypes, we fight them, we try to overcome them through feminism. A very famous quote by John Legend: all men should be feminists. If men care about women's rights, the world will be a better place, because men have been occupying powerful positions in the society ever since. I don't say that every man is an oppressor, every man is suppressing women. No. But men in general do that. There are men who can be feminists, there are men who can be allies as well. So, if these men choose to be allies or they choose to identify as feminists, they give up their male privilege, the privilege which a boy is born with, which ultimately, when he becomes a man, he enjoys certain privileges by the society by default because of his gender. Equal, he having the power to dominate, he going out to work, he deciding when to marry, when not to marry, he having affair despite being married and yet being accepted by the wife, and she always serving him. In the Hindu culture, in the Indian society, the concept of woman worshipping her husband, various other such concepts and ideas. So we need to fight all these things. And if a man identifies as feminist, he gives up all this. He gives up away his power so that women also become more powerful or at equal power. And they try to carve a niche for themselves. They try to establish their identity and they have equal opportunities and resources in every sphere. Therefore, feminism is for everyone, and everyone should be a feminist. Thank you.